Boker Tov, Yom Tov, Zoharim Tovim, and Laila Tov. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good evening, no matter where you're at. This is Carrie, and I'm going to speak from my heart today. This is something that I have been challenged with recently, and so if I'm being challenged, then that means so are you, because we are all in this together and we are all one. Recently was having a conversation with someone who has advanced knowledge, remembering many lives, many existences, having access to other people's records in their lives. And we were talking about my issues with asthma and why I have some breathing issues. And it was brought to my attention that that had to do with self-love, that there were things that I was still rejecting myself in. And I honestly had thought that I had done a lot of work and working through a lot of the trauma that has seemed to have followed me from many lifetimes, and it was revealed to me that in fact I had not. I'm kind of still laughing about it. How funny that our beast ego can deceive us at times and say, oh no, you're clear, you're good, when in fact we still have work to do. And the reminder is that some of these things that needed to be looked at, that I had to remember that there is no evil. Now, I know for some of you who might be listening to this as a first time or are newer to the channel, if you have religious upbringing, we have been told repeatedly that there is evil and there is good, and we need to choose a side, essentially. But I do know and have the knowing, because it was revealed to me through my spirit and through, conversations I've had with my husband, that we are in a place in the dual system where we are rendering everything clear, and that everything is based on experience. So in the system of duality, good and evil are opposites of a frequency of experience, this or that. So literally everything can be just rendered down as this or that. And she reminded me that there is no evil. And she used the same exact words that Ken and I have been talking about, that it's just all experience. And what has happened is that these are places that I have refused to look at because of rejection issues, based in fear, which is a construct of the beast ego nature. Because the truth is unconditional love doesn't reject, because it's unconditional love. It is all love. And I need to fully experience that within myself. And some of these things have been so horrendous that have been experiences that I haven't wanted to look at them, because I rejected myself because of them a long time ago. And part of that is in rejecting myself, that others would reject me if this information would come out and surface. But again, that's just a projection. It all comes back to you. So if I'm thinking that other people reject me, what I'm saying to myself is that if I see these things and I view these things, I will reject myself like I did back then. And it makes sense that in this lifetime there has been an extreme polarity for good, purity, and innocence. And there's been some things that have, some fascinations I've had in this lifetime that haven't made sense to me because the life that I live now, with the extreme polarity on the side of quote unquote goodness and light, they just have never really sat. But now I'm comprehending it. So the extreme propensity for goodness and light and all of those things, and purity and innocence, is because it's the extreme polarity opposite to those things that are in darkness and perversity and horrendous things and acts, is the two extreme poles that need to be brought together and rendered clear and neutralized in the place of potential, so that I can see it as we have the potentiality for good or evil. But in that place of centeredness, when we find unconditional love and we recognize that everything is experience, we stop judging. That means we stop judging ourselves. So I only wanted to share this with you today, is that if there are things that are triggering you, if if you are not in that place of absolute shalom and residing in that place of unconditional love on a continuation basis, and you're getting triggered by something that someone else has done, it is still a mere reflection of something that needs to be worked on within you. And many of these things are buried in our subconscious. And if we keep holding ourselves to the fact that we believe that we've only had one life and this is it, then the beast ego is holding us captive and imprisoning us in that thought so that we don't go back and release these things. Because I will tell you this, once you render everything clear, once you have found unconditional love for yourself, that beast ego cannot reside within you any longer. This is when we escape the matrix. This is when the system of duality no longer has a hold on this. We can no longer be controlled by fear and manipulated through fear. Because really, when I came to that place in my meditation this morning, I was confronted with fear, and I'm chuckling about it right now because that darned beast ego does not want to be fully dislodged, and it's been losing grip. It's been losing grip for quite a while now, as this has been a fairly lengthy process over, well, I can't say lengthy. I started challenging some of these narratives in September of 2019, so really it has been probably a shorter work than I'm giving credit to it. But it has been loosening its grip on me, and but there's still some of these things in the recesses that need to be dug out and dealt with. So I encourage all of you that if you are experiencing any of these things, and I'm sure you are, because if I am, then you are, that it's time for us to actually go inwardly and look and sweep the closet out and recognize that there is no good, there is no evil, it is all experience. And when you can find that place of unconditional love for yourself, because that's the only way it's going to happen. Once you find that place within yourself and you love yourself unconditionally, regardless of the choices that were made, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, those are all just judging systems. And I recently did a video within the last several weeks about what judgment looks like. When you can stop judging yourself because you've rendered everything clear and neutralized it, then you have reached the place of unconditional love. Then you are marked with a different signature frequency, the covenant of the Father, the mark of the Kayutha, because you've neutralized everything. And it is only at that point when we begin to do this work individually that then it can affect the collective. And for those brave ones that are willing to do that work right now, I applaud you and I say, well done. This is definitely for the courageous. And yeah, courage is lower on the Hawkins scale when you take a look at levels of consciousness and vibration, but it is definitely a lot higher than shame and guilt, which is like down in 20, and I think courage is about 200. So yeah, it's a long ways from 1,000, but I would much rather start at the 200 knowing that I'm progressing towards the state of Christ consciousness, unconditional love, than staying in a place of fear, staying in a place of shame and guilt, in areas that the beast ego doesn't want me looking. So we can try to convince ourselves that we are, my husband calls it, doing the shaman shuffle, where it looks like we've reached this place, but just know that your emotions are a barometer, and if something is still moving you out of that place of shalom, then that means you have more work to do. And really, the work has to start with you, and it starts with you becoming honest with yourself and taking full responsibility for everything that you have done and rendering it clear and recognizing that all it was experience. This is how the co-creators become in their elevated position as a creator, because we've experienced everything in all of the spectrums and all of the facets, in every potential avenue that we could have taken, we have taken, and we have seen the vanity in much of it, but yet it's given us the ability to be in that place of unconditional love. Space has been created for us to experience these things, and I need to continue to come up a little higher to see what it is all about so that I can truly be set free. Once I'm set free, so are you. So good job so far on what you've done. Let's keep digging and let's continue to do the work. Shalom, shalom, and namaste.